on YouTube. Alright, we live streaming.
Yeah. Really hot.
Yeah, I am looking for like intro music. So you never know.
I make beats now. Hold on.
Right.
How do I flip
I'm
this
dead
camera?
serious. This quarantine, I learned how to do everything, child. What you need a dress?
Here we go.
Yeah. Really hot. Radio.
Ain't that how
Really
we
hot. Radio.
When the beat drops,
Yeah.
let me put my glasses on. Getting the zone. Let's go.
Philly hot. Radio. Philly hot. Radio.
Hey, testing. Can you hear me? I'm good. Everybody, mic's hot. Let's go. R&B dreams. I'm your girl, Nina Cherie. This is our first in the studio session. I'm so happy that we all made it through quarantine, COVID-19. I'm glad to be here with y'all. Y'all know how I like to do. I like a sit down, like we just talking over like a drink or a smoke session type of vibe on my show. Okay. So we gonna get it in. We're gonna start off with a bang. You know the appetizer. Bang, but no shrimp. You know it's in the building. All right, we're gonna have some dinner. And I say she a whole entree. She just not a that. That's the end. And then we're going to end with something sweet. You know, he a stand-up guy. He gonna be give us something nice to wind down to some desserts. We got Ryan Davis in the building. Okay. So yeah, let's go.
Philly hot. Radio.
I'm letting people tune in. Okay. So let's just get into it. Our first guest, Fire's in the building. Say what's up.
What's up?
To the people.
What's up, people?
So, we are talking to a international superstar over here. Okay, he has been all over the globe, So, why don't we just start with giving us a short introduction of yourself, and we're gonna get right into it.
Yes, this is Ankh Fire, also known as Poet AF Black, also known as Joseph Xavier Mack, also known as ankhfire.com, also known as that motherfucker that's always cutting up on Instagram. I need to unfollow this nigga. This is the one and only phenomenon. I am not just an artist, I am a star. And I'm not a celebrity. I'm a star. There's a difference.
And what's the difference? Explain to me.
Okay. I'm a star. I walk in the room and magnetism occurs, okay? I walk into a restaurant, it's empty. When I walk out, it's packed.
Hey!
You understand what I'm saying? Because they know I'm in the building. They know where I could be on the bus. I could be the first person on the bus.
True.
And I guarantee you that whole entire bus will be full. That's who I am. That's what I'm about. If you want to know my beginnings, I am from Philadelphia. I was born and raised in Southwest, specifically down the bottom, 31st and Haverford, right across the bridge from the Art Museum.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Now,
I used to watch the fireworks from my grandma's porch.
All right now.
So I also teach as well. I was a school teacher for many years, and then decided, you know what, fuck that. I'm going to do what it is that I want to do, and just live my life as a phenomenon that I am, and without apology.
Absolutely.
So here we go.
So I want to ask you, what is your secret? Because you've been all over. You've been. I can't even begin to put all the places down that you've been. Yeah. You've been in Europe, Atlanta. You just told me you was down there, Philly. Like you had an experience. I want you to go into how you came across your name, Ankh Fire, and ancestor came to you. Like how did that work out in Europe?
Yes, I was actually backpacking. I was backpacking and hitchhiking through Europe for about for a few months, about 6 months. I decided I just took about $400, bought a ticket, by the time I got to Amsterdam, I had 150 euros.
Wow.
And I met a guy old Turkish dude. I call him Melchizedek. He's my Melchizedek. And you ever read the book The Alchemist? And it was in the book. It's about a boy who goes on a journey going to Egypt. And then I had a similar experience where I met a guy who was like, you should go hitchhiking. And I okay, sure. I think that is, but I ain't got no money. He said, you don't need no money to hitchhike. Yeah. We hitchhiking. So I said, okay, cool. We started from Amsterdam, went from Amsterdam to Brussels. I popped my cherry. I was like, oh, that's easy. I stuck my thumb out, got a ride. We went from Amsterdam all the way to Brussels because my family was on their way to Paris.
So fun.
And I was like, well, then shit, then where else we going?
Yeah.
Right.
He said, you want to go to Poland? I said, Poland, that's a little far east. That's Russia. I don't know about that. Right. But he was like, come on, it's great. It's a great opportunity. Sure. That ended up, that first one was beginner's luck. That's what they also mentioned in the book of The Alchemist, beginner's luck. So the first one was easy. Going from Amsterdam to Brussels, it took almost a week to get from Brussels to Poland.
Wow.
Because nobody was going to Poland.
Right.
So I had to go. So I ended up being able to see all of Europe in the process because no one was going straight to Poland.
Now, is this the same guy that helped you get your name?
No.
Okay.
The thing is, we were in Austria, and this was the first time that we weren't able to get a ride that day. We was on the side of the road for about a good 12 hours, and we ended up having to sleep at a gas station in Austria, in Vienna. And like I said, I'm from Philly. Grandma Port. I'm in Vienna. I can sleep in the garage in Vienna. Don't worry about it. So I fell asleep, and in that process of falling asleep, I had a dream, a vision, and whatever something just grabbed me and was said, Ankh. And I woke up. I said, huh? And I just from that moment on, I just started rocking with Ankh. As Ankh as my name. Now I'm a Leo, so I'm a Leo, and my moon sign is an Aries, so I have a lot of fire in me. So that's where the fire came from. And I have a lot of friends, a lot of Rastas, a lot of Jamaican friends. They always call me fire. So I'm mixing together in Ankh fire. And Ankh is a ancient Egyptian symbol. I found out, at first I was just saying Ankh.
So you didn't even know.
No. Right.
Oh, I love stuff like that.
I didn't know. And so I was like, oh, it's an ancient Egyptian symbol, right? And which represents life, or the creation, or the process that creates life, which is a male and a female, or positive and negative coming together and creating. You got a negative, a neutron and the electron coming together.
That's amazing.
All of that is. I also did research and found out that the Ankh, the actual physical Ankh, was also used to generate electricity and also tune the body and tune the body with tuning forks and all that stuff. All that stuff was a way to heal the body and to deal with organs without surgery.
Wow.
So that's also what I do as well with my music, with my art. A lot of the stuff I do is internal, under the surface type of work that's healing. A lot of my music I mix at 432 hertz, which is the frequency of water. I do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of different tunings and play with a lot of different frequencies that doesn't necessarily make a lot of my stuff radio ready, but it feels good.
Yes, and we're going to get into this track because my brother got a track, and I'm not going to lie, when I first listened to it, it was 14 minutes long, and I was like, wait a minute. Now, most radio stations, they cut it off at 3.5, so tell me about this track we're about to listen to, and why is it important to us to listen to this whole track, and give us some background on it.
So the whole track it's called Declaration of Interdependence, and it was a good friend of mine who came up with the concept of the song, Joe Smokes Wisdom. He was talking about, everybody is on this individual tip. Everybody is like on this idea of I don't need anyone, but actually we do need each other, and we are also interdependent of a lot of different things, from just the constellations to the phases of the moon, all those different things. We are interdependent upon. We don't necessarily operate as solely on our own as much as we think we are, think we're doing. So that's also what the song is about, and also to understand that God is around, that there's a lot there. But I also wanted to, with the song, it was a homage as well to those 14 minutes, like those Fela Kuti songs, those old James Brown numbers with James Brown is going on for a good 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was it was intentionally done that way. Done. It's actually two songs, and he insisted upon putting them together and putting them on one track. Luckily, or not luckily, but interesting enough, when I did submit the song to get played on, well, get on worldwide distribution and stuff, they considered it an EP because it's so long.
So long.
So this is a full-out EP, even though it's technically one song. I killed two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
By putting out a 14-minute song, so I was like, oh, I can let this ride out. This is actually, and it also has a lot of movements. It's not just like one thing going.
Rhythm.
Yeah, it has transitions and different movements. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
and I released it the day after Independence Day, intentionally, because we have Independence, and it's all everybody, you know, rockin' red glare and the bomb bursting in the air, and right now in our society,
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter, and everybody's like, fuck Independence Day.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. So how about July 5th?
Okay.
It's Independence Day, huh?
Now, I think that's amazing. So I'm glad that you were able to stop by out of your busy schedule. I feel like I traveled the world just now in these last few minutes together, and we are all been in quarantine in the house, so we about to go on a journey right now.
Yes,
so we're
come on
gonna
now.
listen to a Declaration of Interdependence right now by Unc Fire and what's the other artist's name?
And Joe Smoke's Wisdom.
Hey, let's.
healing for all the angels. A healing of all done sin. Heaven and God, the angels and God one call away. Just meet us all up there. A meeting will all attend. A healing for all the angels. A healing of all done sin. Heaven and God, the angels and God one call away. Just meet us all up there. A meeting will all attend. Healing for all the angels. Healing of all done sin. All the people in the world need you to run, 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 run up to the sun, 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 sun. We need you to run, up to the sun, 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 sun. The movement is for the people, annihilating all the evil. We need you to run up to the sun. The movement is for the people, annihilating all the evil. We need you to run up to the sun. Just meet us all. A meeting will all attend. Healing for all the angels. A healing of all done sin. Jah Rastafari. Heaven and God, the angels and God one call away. Just meet us all up there. A meeting will all attend. Healing for all the angels. A healing of all done sin. Heaven and God, the angels and God one call away. Just meet us all up there, yeah. A meeting will all attend, yeah. Healing for all the angels. Healing of all done sin. Run, 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 run up to the sun, 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 sun. Let it go and run, 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 run up to the sun, 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 sun. Son, son. The movement is for the people. Annihilating all the evil. We need you to run. Hard to the sun. The movement is for the people. Annihilating all the evil. We need you to run. Up to the sun. Yeah. Just need us all. Meeting will all attend. Yeah. Land of all the angels. Eden of all dancing. Heaven and God not far away. The angels and God one call away. Yeah. Need us all up there. Just need us all up there. I'm meeting with all us. Healing for a heart. Healing of heart. Heaven and God. Angels and God. Lead us Heaven and God, not far away. The angels and God, one call away. Meet us all up there. I declare, it is a meeting we'll all attend. I hear the to the sun.
Are hearing are the sounds of Ankh Fire. You can find him everywhere: Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Google Play. But you want to go directly to his website, which is ankhfire.com.
Ankhfire.com.
If you're tuning in, we will be having a discussion, open discussion at the end of the show. We're discussing single dads, single moms. Can single dads carry the weight, same weight as single moms? We're going to find out. So if you want to call in and add in on the topic, the number is 484-477-6398. So we are going to get right into it. What? Oh, I'm sorry. 484-477-6348 is the phone number. And so this is your girl, Davina Cherie. We right back into it with R&B Dreams. Now, we had an appetizer. It's time to get into the main course, our dinner entree, because she is more than just a snack, honey. So we are joined by the beautiful Bethany Ann.
Yes.
Say what's up to the people, Bethany.
Hey everybody, I'm so happy to be here.
So Bethany she is on it. Like, she got a mask on. Like, I can't talk on the microphone. You know, she a professional. She do things I can't do. I'm trying to learn from her some tricks, you know. But she is, you know, she got her mask on. So I just want y'all to know that we serious over here about the 6 feet distance apart and everything, you know. So Bethany, you let me know. Our last time we spoke was before quarantine. Okay, so, you know, in the beginning, it was like, I can't take this no more. But then, all right, so it kept getting extended. It kept getting. We was like talking in the beginning, like, yo, like this is crazy. You know, yes, you had a show at SOBs in New York, so we was getting into some, projects we was thinking about doing together at Rec Philly and everything. So tell us, just go into how has your quarantine experience been? Are you, with the kids, single mom, like, that's the topic for today. So let's get into it.
Single mom, that's crazy. No, I'm joking.
This phone, is that, yeah.
Okay.
We're streaming live on YouTube, so let's everybody log in on YouTube, Philly Hott Radio, and we're live on YouTube as well.
Okay.
So let's get into it. How's your quarantine going?
I can honestly say I'm an extrovert, but I feel like I'm becoming an introvert. I'm really enjoying spending time with myself, and I just feel like I'm learning myself. I had to do some shadow work. I had to figure out who I was, and just really focus in on like what I want to show the world. Because as an artist, you want to share your music, but it's kind of like it's so much going on. Like I don't want to seem like I'm being insensitive, but I don't want to ignore my purpose either.
Right.
But it's been really great for me. It's like I feel bad saying this, but I'm like the happiest I've been during the pandemic.
That's crazy.
Bad stuff. So yeah, I wrote
Absolutely,
like 20
congratulations.
songs. Thank you. I wrote like 20 songs
Absolutely.
for myself that I will be dropping consecutively. So initially I was going to do an EP.
Okay.
But I decided to just, as opposed to just make it one big project and people's attention spans being how they are, I decided to just drop one single a month.
Okay.
That way, it's like my baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to drop one single, and, that's why everybody's really rocking with Lifeguard.
So right now, your single is Lifeguard. Now, I'm going to say, I used to be a lifeguard, but I can tell you right now, even before Corona hit, this quarantine 15 and the way it's set up, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if everybody else's experiences, but for me, this quarantine 15 is real. So let's talk about that Lifeguard, and we're going to be listening to that track next. So just tell us a little bit about that.
I love this song so much. It's funny because it's the first, like I said, I wrote so many songs, I was trying to figure out which one to release first.
Right.
So, it's the first song to everybody. For me, it's just one of the songs I released.
And it's summertime, so
Right,
it works
that's
out.
kind of one of the reasons why I decided to release it, because I thought it to be fitting,
Right.
because it is summertime. I always wanted to be a lifeguard, and I can't swim.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm an artist. I can be whatever I want to be as an artist.
Right.
And I want to be a lifeguard today. So I'd like to be really slick in my wordplay, because I'm not talking about swimming at all. Well, I am talking about swimming.
What?
It depends on how your verbiage goes.
Okay.
So yeah, I did poetry first. Like I started out writing poetry. Born in Jersey, grew up in Philly, had a really rough childhood. So like the pen was always my friend, and I feel like I was always able to just really express myself through my art. So
when you say you had a rough childhood and now you're raising children, I mean,
Yes.
speak for the single moms. Like, give us, some advice. What have you learned from your childhood that maybe, I don't know.
I don't got enough time for that. No,
That you are now doing better with your kids.
I'm sorry. I have three beautiful daughters, and I will say, I don't know, I grew up with both parents in the home. I know we're gonna get to that later.
Yeah.
But I feel like me being a parent, one of the biggest I'm learning more from my kids, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Because they're honest, they're not gonna lie to you, and I just feel like just being able to see them every day and provide for them and still follow my dream. I want more women to know that
How are you balancing that?
Yeah, like you can still be sexy. A lot of people condemned me at one point for being sexy and having a mother and daughters, and I said, how you think I became a mom?
Right.
So just because I have kids doesn't mean that I don't want to embrace my sexuality and just
It's just one part of you. That's it.
Yeah,
People don't
so-
understand that.
Yeah, and it's fun. So I love my babies, and they doing their thing, but yeah.
So we're going to get right into it, and we're going to dive in.
Come on,
We're about to listen to Life of God.
Oh my God.
Only right here on Philly Hott Radio. And I want to ask y'all, can y'all stick around for the last discussion? I understand if y'all have to go, but we're going to get into the topic of the day, our next guest. And it's also going to be a game at the same time. Y'all may have noticed the balloons.
Yeah.
We're going to have a trick word, and we'll get more into that. And whoever is last with the balloon that doesn't pop it, if you say the word, you got to pop the balloon. And whoever is the last one is going to get our prize of the day.
I want a prize.
A sticker that says straight out of quarantine. Okay? So we're going to get right into this lifeguard right now. I bet I am gonna give you it. Let me be your lifeguard. Let me be your lifeguard. Yeah. Let me be your lifeguard. Let me be your lifeguard. Let me be your lifeguard.
I don't know why the main they playing.
I got my bathing suit on. We're gonna swim until dawn. The way my body's shaking, I'm the one that needs saving. The way my legs are shaking, I'm the one that needs saving. I got my birthday suit on. I don't want to drown you when I am around you. It's so good, I bet I just wanna give you drifting. I'm not gonna drown you when I am around you. It's so good, I bet I am gonna give you it. Let me be your lifeguard. 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 I got my bathing suit on. We're gonna swim until dawn. The way my body's shaking, I'm the one that needs saving. The way my legs waking, I'm the one that needs saving. I got my birthday suit on. Alright, y'all, so we back on R&B Dreams. Okay.
Yeah, call
Okay, so
your
that was
list.
Bethany Ann. You can check her out everywhere on Tidal, Spotify.
Yes.
There you go. Bethany Ann,
Lifeguard.
lifeguard. That was popping.
And the video will be out soon.
Hey.
Y'all don't want to miss that. That's all I'm
So,
saying.
we are blessed to have our last guest of the night. For desserts, we're gonna wind it down with Mr. Ryan. With Mr. Ryan Davis, and just to give you some background on him, we have a few titles: A&R, the Def Jam. Who else? RCA. We in politics now. So.
Yeah, I worked in the A&R department for Def Jam. I also worked in the A&R department and also international promotions for RCA. And after that, I got into politics, so I worked as far as a field and strategist, field director and strategist for Governor Tom Wolf, Bob Casey, Councilwoman Kendra Brooks. Also in Denver, Brad Levin, Senator State, President of the New Jersey State Senate, Steve Sweeney, and we're moving forward as far as that goes.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I brought you on today because I need somebody to represent a single father, a full-time dad. Now, all right, so let's just give some background how this started. On Facebook, I shared a post by somebody I don't even know. It was somebody else that knows somebody else. So I just shared a post that said, any day you put a dad in a full-time mom position, he going to fold. How much you want to bet he going to fold? So I just posted it because, I mean, some things I agree with, but something I don't. But it's just like we post stuff every day, like just a repost, whatever. So the next morning I come online, and it was about 100 comments from different dads. Okay, some of them were single dads, or some of them I know are co-parenting. So, and I know they're like the really great dads, and they probably could pull off being a single dad any day. But, you know, other people, it was just kind of like, quite, sketchy, like, So, anyway, I just said, let's have a roll call. Where the single dads at? And we're going to discuss this topic on my show. So that's what brings us here tonight. So, Mr. Ryan Davis, you want to give us a background on yourself? As a single father, well, you used an interesting word when we had a conversation. You said something about poly father or something like that.
Yes.
You want to explain what that was about?
I'm
Exactly.
a poly father. So basically, it's in the same vein as single, but also it means that um, I'm basically open to, I'm basically open to like alternative lifestyles as far as dealing with multiple people because I feel that love, putting that much pressure on one person and saying, I need you to be everything to me is putting a lot of pressure on one person, and a lot of times when you get into monogamous relationships, I don't knock them, but I've seen too many fold because of that pressure, especially if it's emotional, or it can become financially, it can pressure you a little bit more financially. So I'm more of a poly dad, where my son kind of gets a chance to see that, okay, daddy dates and things like that, but he's also here for me, and he also treats these women part of his tribe with respect because now he gets a chance to see how I interact with people all the way around.
Right.
So he sees that interaction. He knows that there is a way to treat women and it doesn't have to be from a disrespectful standpoint. It doesn't have to be from a standpoint of delegation. All it has to be is this is how I want to do it. I respect your boundaries, you respect mine, and you continue to live your life the way you like to. Just let me be a part of your life the way you want me to be, and I'll let you be a part of my life the way I want you to be. And then that way, when my son sees that, as he gets older, he'll be able to know who he is. He can make his own decision on what he wants to do, whether he wants to be polygamous, monogamous, whatever, but what he'll be able to do is interact with different people and not have a closed-in mindset when dealing with people.
So basically, all right, so my purpose for this conversation was let's change the narrative. Like for me, in my opinion, from what I've observed, and I've had my father in my life for the most part, and I've been surrounded by men who are great fathers, but I've always felt, and I've noticed to me, in my experience, that it's majority in our community is single moms, like raising children, and most of the time. So for me, with the comments on Facebook, it's like, all I wanted to do was at least let's get this conversation talking so we can change this narrative. And a lot of times, everything that's going on with Black Lives Matter, it starts at home, the family unit, and I work in the school district. Like, so I'm seeing like single moms all day. That's all I see. So it starts at home, education, even from violence and everything. And we're gonna open the floor up, and we're gonna start this game also. So the word you can't say is dad. So how we want to talk and have this conversation? Okay, so now we playing with these balloons. If you say the word dad, we gonna pop your balloon, or you could pop your own balloon.
Can I say daddy?
This
father?
is the prize.
Daddy, father.
So you can't say dad or daddy.
Okay.
So father, yes. Okay. So all right. So let's open up the floor. Like, let anybody want to add in on? Oh, you got to say something first.
Yeah. So I guess to get into that perspective, especially the single father perspective, is when we see a lot of our mothers, a lot of single mothers going to these schools and showing up, we have to ask what the background was to that, because a lot of times no one knows what the background is. You just see the result. So what was the background to it? What caused that whole situation? Why isn't the father there? Or why don't we see the father? I can say this from my own experience. Early on, when my son was starting school and getting into the kindergarten stage and things like that, I would come maybe once, and that's when he was with his mother mostly. But I lived in New York City, and she lived in Salem, New Jersey, which are not near each other at all. So I could only do so much as far as in that position. But I wanted to do more. When I did show up, and even when I could show up and he could see me, it was like, oh, you're his dad. So
pop your balloon.
Hey man,
pop it.
All right, no problem.
Wait, are you playing?
All right, so you can say dad. You can say it there. Oh, that was an applause.
I ain't saying it. You gonna say it. I'm getting that.
I'm sorry about that, everyone. But I just want to go into. I just think people should kind of look into the backgrounds. Also, look into. Sometimes we want to look into the mothers. I know we can skip over that a lot, but being a single father versus being a single mother, the reward is different from a different standpoint. Like I'm not going to be able to go to the state and get some of the same benefits that some single mothers do, and I have nothing against that. I really don't.
And what benefits are those? Because
I think to a certain degree, and I'm just saying this from my own experience, that I can't go get like wig, anything like that. Like
okay, wig. Okay.
Certain things that I can't, or automatically, I'm automatically I feel like a lot of fathers feel like this going in, that we're automatically disqualified when it comes down to going and getting any assistance. Because I mean, even when my son lived with me, I didn't look to his mother. My son lives with me now, but early on when he lived with me, I didn't look to her to help me to do anything because I just didn't feel that I should have. So a lot of single fathers have that pride, and we also have it in the back of our heads that we're not supposed to go get help from anyone anyway. Where I do feel like, where as a mother, you do feel like you should be getting help, and that's admirable, and I think that's. And I don't have anything against that, but I do feel like as fathers, we don't get a chance to feel like we can get help. Okay. So a lot of people won't know that, oh, he'll fold. No, it's not that we'll fold. It's that we already don't think we're supposed to have help anyway from a male perspective. We're supposed to be leading. So we already feel like we don't need nobody to help us, even if we're struggling and suffering in silence.
So it's like you feel defeated before you even start.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I can tell you, I used to work for the state of Pennsylvania, so at least I know in the state of Pennsylvania, you are able to get the same, based on income, of course, the same benefits outside of WIC because that's for women and children. Okay. Exactly what the acronym means. So, but absolutely, like I feel like, of course, can we all agree that a 2-parent household is the best for a child?
It depends.
For the most part, that's the goal, right? That would be the goal, to have 2 stable people.
Yeah, 2 stable people.
Yeah.
But like,
2 stable people.
Okay, so y'all want to like chime in on this? What do y'all think?
As a queer male who has fathered a child, one of the just to piggyback a little bit on what my brother was talking about in terms of feeling defeated. In many ways, in my process with my son's mother. The beginning part, a lot of it was she used the system a lot as a weapon against me. It was almost entitled, a lot of threats, a lot of things she used. What is used to in many ways resolve conflict, she used it to actually escalate, and as a form of weapons, from threatening to take child support, threatening to file for full custody. When we got to the courts, even her language and the way she presented her case to the court, it was almost like she just knew that the courts was going to lean towards her favor. They didn't.
So she a female.
But because of the way the system has been set up in the history of women being able to benefit from, in many ways, who need it, women who've been abused, like for instance, Section 8. There's a lot of families, a lot of single mothers who benefit from Section 8, being able to house their children and stuff. However, a lot of the clauses in there is that you can't have another adult in there, like the father, in the house with them. So there's a lot of women who were pushing men away so they can keep their Section 8 vouchers.
You hear what you're saying? You hear what you're saying now?
What?
That's what they was trying to do. That was the whole point.
Right, but that was the whole point.
Not to cut you off.
Yeah, that was the whole point.
Yeah, I like where you was going with that.
Yeah, so but other than that, it's been weaponized. Now, I learned through my process that it's not necessarily that case. Like once I went to the courts and everything, the judge was very fair, a fair judge, was making decent judgments, was listening, like, man, you can't do that, you can't do that. It's not. She could see the efforts, but being queer also has put a damper on it because now as a man, a lot of times that's also been the argument. That was brought up a lot in the courts, was that I'm gay, that I think that somehow that would make it difficult or makes somehow hinder my ability to be a father or my ability to rear a child or to be able to make a solid judgment in terms of whether or not this child can be safe and in an appropriate environment. So that also kind of conflicts with that whole idea of 2-parent homes, because it suggests that ultimately if I was to have a male lover or whatever, somehow that would corrupt the idea of what may be a family to this child or what is a proper upbringing to the child. So exposing him to my male lover or someone like that could possibly, which is not the case, I would probably never do that because I just don't date, period, in terms of that. But that was ultimately brought up in the process. And it kind of what you could say discouraged me from making more efforts and trying to be involved in my son's life because of that. Because the last thing you want to do is be labeled as a pervert and then somehow possibly being able to, to then also harm your child because of your sexual orientation, and that's brought up a lot. And I feel like that.
It's so irrelevant.
It
really is.
You're right. It's so irrelevant.
And the judge did see past it.
Yeah, the judge saw past that and completely, threw everything out.
But that was lucky. That could have been another type of judge than,
Exactly, because she played games a lot with the courts and with the system. She played a lot of games and I can imagine, I'm like, if I was any other dude, it was any other guy that she was in a situation with, it probably would have went the other way because he probably would have been busting out windows, fighting, give my son, give my. I ain't do none of that. So it has a lot to do with my feminine energy, not necessarily going into combat all the way, even though there is a dude that want to bust windows, a dude that's ready, the first thing I want to do is punch something, punch something. There's also an old mother inside of me, just like, be patient, son. Calm down. Right? This is a long game. This child this child is yours forever, and you guys will have an opportunity to develop a relationship.
Absolutely.
Over the course of both of you guys' lives. So yeah.
I kind of dig from what I want to pick back off what you're saying, especially as a heterosexual man, and wanting to go bust windows out, things like that. Because me and my son's mother are in a great space right now. We're co-parent. Like we have zero attraction or anything like that.
But have you ever been in that space?
Absolutely. Okay. But being in that space as a heterosexual male, I know my way of going about it was, and I guess I wanted to do things. I guess I wanted to, so to speak, harm. Not harm in a physical way because I'm already physically stronger. But I was like, I can harm you because I have more resources than you. So I'm able to, talk to lawyers. I'm able to pay for things that you can't pay for. And I know you don't have the resources for it. And I was ready to do things like that. But coming of age and getting into certain things, I said, you know what? Keeping you away from resources, using my own resources to hurt you will only harm my kid. So that's where we started really, trying to see things from different ways. Me and her, we had a lot of fights because my son's mother is, she's part of the LGBT community as well. She's a lesbian. Asexual at one point, now she's a full lesbian. Hey, have a great time. But I think with that, we just ended up going back and forth because she wanted to escalate it to see how far it would go because that was our relationship prior to having a kid. Let me see how far I can go. And I think once we got into that, now we have another life in play. Let me see how far I can go. And the thing was, I didn't want it to be, and I said, you don't want to go this far with me. Because we have totally different resources. Right. And I'm not saying that from a very threatening standpoint, but I'm saying that because it's factual. Let's be realistic here. If I really wanted to be the man that you were demonizing me to be right now, I can be that. But as we grew older and started really realizing none of this helps Ryan. That's my son's name, by the way. None of this helps
Junior?
Yeah, well, actually, no. She changed his middle name so he wouldn't be a junior.
That's so weird, and I got his middle name downstairs. That's weird as shit to me. I was like, it start with an A. That start with an A.
So she changed his middle name when he was first born. We had a spat, and she felt like that was a way of punishing me.
Wow.
Crazy.
So,
Beth, we gonna have you talk. You gotta talk. You got a lot you gotta say.
Give me a pen.
But you know what? I'm gonna let Bethany have the
Crazy,
full
yo.
I
don't know. I hate stories. I sympathize with you, and I really sympathize with you. Like, I hate stories like that because I'm a mother, and I even had to correct myself. I think because I'm not a single mother. I think I'm single. I'm
co-parent.
I'm a mother that's single.
But you co-parent now.
Yeah, because he, me and him are in a great space as well. Like, we're no longer together, but it's just about the kids and it's the best interest. So I feel like it's a lot of toxic masculinity, especially as far as I feel like the society has really damaged men and women. Stuff that is, like you said, so irrelevant. Your sexuality, it doesn't matter. It's been a 2-parent home where it's a man and a woman, and the kid is dead or it's not safe. So I'm really still trying to understand the issue. It should be 2 people who love that child. But back to your point, what you posted on Instagram, when you said that, because I didn't know what fold meant at first. I was like, what does fold mean? But
okay.
yeah, but I felt like, I don't know. I feel like it's things that men can do, just because they have a lens. okay, so like they have a perspective, and it's just the same as vice versa. Whether you have a daughter or a son, it doesn't really matter. I just feel like everybody has different experiences, and with those experiences, there's the decisions that they make. For instance, so like.
And I think it's interesting that someone posted that because I usually say something opposite, which is if you want the man to be involved, you know what you should do. Take that baby over his house, leave it with him, and you go. I guarantee you, he will come into that.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the main arguments I had with my son when we were going back and forth. I'm like, well, then just come over the house and you leave. You're in opposition with something that you actually haven't given an opportunity to actually manifest and see it. I haven't really. Let me F up first.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. You see, as a single mother who
I ain't even F'd up yet.
I gotta chime in because you can't. There's no room for error with a child. Once they traumatized, you can't change it. If something happens, like you're saying, F up. Like if something F up, no. Like as a single mom, I can't agree with that. Like so, I actually like in my experience.
Of course, the F up is subjective. The F up is in the hand, is in the
Don't
eyes.
drop the baby on the head.
No, I'm not drop the baby on. I'm not talking about drop the baby on the head. I'm talking about usually he has apple juice at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's how your mother be real particular about apple juice and stuff like that.
Juicy juice.
And the diapers and the bag and stuff like that. Let me forget the bag first. I didn't get the opportunity to forget the bag. I didn't get the opportunity to make the milk run. Those type of things.
I always joked and said they should make it to where, just because I've heard so many horror stories and I feel like people just be having kids and they don't even know what they're doing.
Look at what happened with King.
Yeah, and
recently
I just
in the
feel
news.
It's just, I don't know, it gets really sad. I'm like, I don't know if they're going to do this as far as you need a permit to have a kid. Like, you need a permit for everything, to drive, but you don't need a permit to have a kid. Some people really don't need to be parents.
Yeah.
And I be feeling really bad because me as a mother of 3 daughters, I know how much time I spend juggling, like giving them extra work, making sure I'm teaching them like home economics and finance education, like the stuff that the schools aren't teaching, as well as juggling my career and going to school, and it's just like a lot of people don't have that time, unfortunately. And I feel like we see a lot of single moms, because I know a lot of black men work overnight. I'm gonna just say it, I don't care. I know a lot of black men or minority men do graveyard shifts,
right? So
they're not able to be home with the family. And I just feel like that. Like my dad worked overnight. My parents.
Pop the balloon! Pop the balloon! Pop the balloon!
I knew it.
Sticker. All right. Pop your balloon!
Damn it, man!
Sometimes it gets too deep.
I was getting deep.
Oh, wait a minute.
I gotta pop it.
We actually going to start wrapping up because we're running out of time. But I'm hearing a lot in the way of saying, we gotta redefine what we see a man to do, a woman can do, and it's just it starts with us, like literally it starts with our families, like knowing like, can I even have a kid and really have the responsibility of having a child in the first place? So
if
like,
you don't want to have the child with somebody, don't have sex with them, period. That's all every fucking thing.
Period.
So it starts with us, and that's why we're here.
Exactly,
but
okay. So and that's why we are where we are.
Right, but before we run out of time, and I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. The next show is going to be broadcasted. I'm going to be in Puerto Rico on air, so we're going to, try to this show, R&B Dreams, next month. I do it every month, the last Music Monday of the month. I will be in Puerto Rico, so we're going to do an on-location situation next time. So thank y'all for tuning in, and we're going to end on Ryan's song. Please give us a little background about the song we're about to hear.
So this is a record from DJ Aqueous's. DJ Aqueous is a DJ that I manage and do a lot of his branding, and also Curtis, which is a dancehall artist. We work with Yaz, who, as you know,
like Yaz the greatest.
No, Yaz. He is actually the producer for Dior for Pop Smoke.
Gotcha.
So we worked with him on this record. So this is actually a drill record mixed with dancehall. And of course, I actually jumped on the hook myself, Puff Daddy style. So
we out here. I'm going to listen in for that.
Alright,
So-
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so thank y'all again for tuning in. It's R&B Dreams, and I'm your girl Davina Cherie. See y'all next time. Oh, I got a minute.
Bitch, I like to double dip. More friends with you. I got that double drip. Bring more bands with you. I got them double clips. Shoot all the mans with you. I like to double dip. Bring more friends with you.
Hey, hey. Double dip, double top, your girl, double lap, double dip, double top, for the on top. We fly, like a cap, brain she falls up, face like kneecap. Video whip up my phone for the recap. One the girls when I rub out and kneecap. Deep throat, double up, 4 lips, 2 clips, 2 sugar, 4 clips. Summer roll, full of paper, no issue. Them just full of issue. You know reach when I left for me this up, so the car buy. Yeah. Hey, boop, boop, boop. Can I say, hey, hey. Them know when we double dip the whole place dip low. Double dip now everybody get low. Double tapping now your girl ready for go. Double tap a fully on top of the drop, drop, pop, pop, gunshot hit them pop, pop. Them boy drop on them pop, pop. Them can't move them flat. Them with dust them, we rolling, never cost them. Show them how we not get them head bust with
Bitch, I like to double dip. Bring more friends with you. Got that double drip. Bring more bands with you. I got them double clips. Shoot all the mans with you. I like to double dip. Bring more friends with you.
them.